How's everybody doing? Awesome. Good, good, good. Well, we haven't prepared for this in any way other than inviting you here. And the objective is to talk to you about what's really working. The theme of this whole weekend is practical knowledge. What's really working in the field, what is creating success for people, what's duplicating, because there's a difference between what might work for one person and what can duplicate, what's responsible out in the organization, what's irresponsible, what's creating more harm than good. We're going to talk about all those things over the course of this. But what I'd like to start with maybe is ask all of you, what platforms are working the best? Platform or platforms are working the best? We'll just ask the same question of all of you.
Okay. So I feel like I'm kind of old school in it, but Facebook has been my go-to number one from the get-go, and Facebook and YouTube for me.
Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
Ray?
Yeah, it depends on who you're trying to target. I mean, millennials typically like Snap or Instagram more, but I prefer Facebook. You have more flexibility, in my opinion.
Okay.
Facebook as well.
Facebook? Zach?
Do you want to hold it? I still think Facebook is the granddaddy, with Instagram kind of making a quick runner-up. For
Instagram second.
Facebook number one, and LinkedIn number two, and then Instagram.
LinkedIn. Okay.
I personally think Facebook's definitely at a peak right now, and that's where I've got all of my efforts going.
So Facebook for sure is kind of a must for everybody. Would you agree? That's a foundation, that's kind of a baseline. And then if you want to target executives, you're going to go to LinkedIn. You want to target millennials, you might go to Snap. Target general might be Instagram, those types of things. Anybody using Twitter for anything? A little bit? Yeah. I haven't seen much. I still don't understand Twitter. I mean, I guess I kind of get it for a celebrity trying to tell what's going on in their world or something, but for our world, it just, I don't know. I don't see as much value as I see, in particular, Facebook. Let's start with Jessica. Why don't you talk about how many people have you recruited through social media, you and your husband, approximately, personally?
Gosh, well, I think Facebook has been that area where we started with, when we got started, especially with the company we're with now, 8 years ago, it's been our prime source of recruiting. So I would definitely say over 200.
Over 200 people?
Definitely, yeah.
And what percentage of the recruiting efforts that are happening inside of your team, if you had to guess, what percentage have some foundation in social media?
At this point, it's over 90%.
90%? Yeah. Okay. So about 90% of the organizational connections that's happening is happening through social media.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what do you do in order to be able to create a little bit more permanence? Because the one thing that I see, and we'll talk about, is that if it's just only online stuff and you don't build the relationship, you don't build the face-to-face, you don't build the connection with people, that it can tend to be high attrition.
Yes.
What do you do in order to be able to improve the attrition or the retention of those people?
Absolutely. So we all understand that network marketing is based off relationships. And so to keep your involvement rate up, you've got to create those relationships either before or after they join you, one or the other. And so what we do is we actually utilize Facebook groups. And when we have customers get started, even prospects get started, we get them into those groups. And inside of there, they see the culture. They get to become part of the culture. And with them seeing and being part of that culture, then they feel like they're a part of something. They're getting continued product education. And I think that's what really keeps people around for the long term. Okay,
cool. I'm going to back up before we go deeper here. Let's just assume, how many people feel a little lost when it comes to using social media to grow your network marketing business or find more prospects? A little bit lost. Good chunk of the room. What would be your advice? I ask each of you, what would be your advice to a person who's just saying, okay, I want to use Facebook in order to be able to reach more people and grow my business? What would be your first piece of advice? Just start here and move down.
Having a Facebook would be good.
Yeah,
You know,
that would help.
start there. Get one. But no, a lot of people are actually afraid to get on there and they're almost, I think they're afraid of their past, right? Like what's going to come up on social media. But reconnect with people from your past. That's kind of like, it's like your semi-war market because it's people that you have had relationships with. And social media is a way that you can connect, whether, you know, I'm in Texas, but so-and-so moved to Washington. We can reconnect. And now you get access to their networks when you do that, right? So then it builds yours bigger. So first thing you want to do is get on Facebook and start reconnecting with people that you've had relationships with already.
So get connected. And the social media platforms will help you, right? They'll recommend people that, hey, you might know this person, you might know that person. You can look at the people you know and see who you have mutual friends with, and you can expand your network pretty quickly to be able to get connected with people. If you're looking to have people to talk to, who are those people? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say too, and when we say connect on social media, it doesn't mean just add them, send them a friend request, right? That's you do the work behind the scenes by going and saying, hey, how are you doing? What have you been up to? The connection comes from the conversation, not just going and adding someone on social media.
All right, cool. So connecting with people in real life, not just friending them, but connecting them and building at least a start of a conversation.
Right.
All right, Ray?
Yeah, so same as Bree. I would combine both prospecting and marketing. So reaching out to people, just like Bree is talking about, and but also posting things that raise more curiosity than resistance. And so instead of just sell, and we got, you know, next week Black Friday, I'm gonna wear a bag over my head or something because we're gonna see a lot of sell. Instead, post something that makes curiosity benefit driven and get them reaching out to you so you can have a conversation.
Give me an example of selling versus curiosity driven.
Yeah. So selling would be, hey, today buy one get one. Here's my product. And it assumes too much. It assumes that someone was ready to buy the first one anyway, which most people aren't. About 2% are in the world. And so instead of that, say, hey, I'm so proud of my friend Tanya who lost 10 pounds with us, and man, she's so awesome. Way to go, girl. That's irresistible because people say, well, what are you talking about? You know, or whatever. You know,
Right.
Creamier skin, right? Whatever, but talk about some kind of benefit that someone in your team received without giving them all the information that allows them to
Don't give them the product as a solution. Don't give the company name.
Right.
Don't talk about it. You know, you could buy it. Don't say, send me a message if you're interested.
Exactly, yeah.
Those types of things. Just post the benefit. Yep. And what I've seen is people posting benefits about products, about lifestyle, about friendships, about freedom. Sure. I love the fact that I get to work from home and drive my kids to school, or I love the fact that I get to help other people become entrepreneurs. Stuff like that gets people sending you private messages saying, well, how would I do that? Because if you do what I see a lot is people do post the words, send me info in the comments below if you'd like to know more about my thing, whatever the thing is that I have. And everybody just sees that for what it is, which is like an ad that's on the right-hand side of the Facebook that everybody ignores, and pretty soon they ignore you.
Yeah, it negates the power of what you posted. And so if it's a reach out to me for more information, it negates what you just posted. And I've found that, you know, we teach a lot of different scripts and things like that. We have to tell people, don't add your little salesy thing, because everyone wants to add their little salesy thing to every message they ever send, and it negates the power of what you're saying.
Yeah, so here's the objective of this, through the work that I do and the work that they all do with their organizations, is we want you to be able to use social media to, number one, never run out of quality people to talk to, ever. You'll always have more people to talk to than you'll have time if you do this properly. Number two is to build your brand, your image, which works for prospects but also works for your team, where your team is proud that you're the leader and your prospects are like, wow, they got some stuff going on. So you build the brand. Three is that you turn those interested connections into prospects, and you convert those people who are willing to customers or distributors, and then you teach them how to do the same thing. That's the objective through all of this, is just a turbo way, and we're going to get into some of the specific strategies that people are using, something like the online launches and the social media launch type events that people are doing, et cetera, in order to be able to accelerate that. But that's the objective here. Sarah, your thoughts?
So I think for a lot of us, like when we're brand new on Facebook, like you were sharing, I think it's, for me, when I created my Facebook profile, my biggest thing is I wanted people to know my story. So when people go to your Facebook page, what's the story that you're telling? Like within 30 seconds when they go on there.
Well, first of all, before you finish the story, if anybody knows she's doing like the Beyonce thing with her hair flowing in the wind?
It's kind of driving me crazy.
It's like, yeah, just embrace your inner Beyonce and go with it.
The Norwegian Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's important. So when people go on there, it's like, number one, do they want to be connected with you? Number two, how do they stay connected with you, right? So when they go on there, they need to learn about you. And so I know for like myself personally, like I want people to know, like when they see me in their news feed, like I want to bring joy every day into their life because there's so much negativity, there's so much crap going out there that they go there because they're inspired by the things that I do, that I post, how I live my life, who I am, my values, all of that. And so I think it's really important that like to be very, we heard a lot about from these great speakers last night about being very purposeful and intentional. And so literally every post, every share, every Facebook Live, everything that I do on my Facebook is very intentional for a reason to build my business.
Love it. Zach, I'm going to ask you, how many people have you personally recruited using social media?
I'd say probably around 200.
About 200 or
About
so?
200, maybe 175 to 200.
And how many people you have on your organization now?
My wife would know that better. I'd say about 32,000. She's just right there.
32,000 on
She's the brains. I mean, it really should be her.
Yeah, well, I understand.
Yeah.
You can go sit down. We'll bring you.
Maybe I should, man. She's far better looking.
So 32,000. About of the recruiting activity that's happening on your team, what percentage do you think has a foundation in social media?
I mean, we launch everybody in some capacity with kind of a two-pronged approach. So everyone's getting launched kind of in the traditional old school way, if you will, of making a list and connecting that way and then launching on Facebook. So there is a percentage. I'd say that the percentage is about 75% is grounded in social media. But what we really preach is that social media is really just another faculty of building a business. I think far too many people get caught up in this idea of what I call post and pray. And post and pray is not a strategy. It's just not. Post and pray is not a strategy. And I was raised kind of old school, if you will, and I always believe that you want to have 3 to 5 to potentially 7 lead generation sources going at all times. So social media is just one of those things. And then just to add to kind of the conversation, one thing for those of you guys that raise your hands that feel like you're a little bit of an overwhelm when it comes to social media, here's the best way to look at it. Social networking is the exact same thing as real world networking. It's the exact same thing as real world networking. So for those of you guys that are kind of have done things a little bit the old school way and you're kind of evolving and adopting to how things are being done now, what I would invite you to remember is that it's nothing that you haven't been doing for the last, several years. It's no different. So like Ray is saying, if you wouldn't go around to a networking event saying, hey, join my team, join my team, join my team, join my team, why would you ever post that? Right. And for those of you guys that are new, that are just kind of getting started, what I would say is find some influencers that you can model in terms of their behavior. What are they posting? What's their flair? What's their style? And then find your own voice within that would be my recommendation.
Love it. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I just had a kind of prompting to go a different route. And I'm going to start with you, Jeff. Here's what I want you to do. I know that you've been crushing it with LinkedIn. What I'd like you to do, stand up and give these people a 5-minute training on what they can do using LinkedIn, how it works, and specifically what you do in order to be able to generate the business that you generate. Hit it. Jeff Beebe, everybody.
Well, Facebook, LinkedIn are two major platforms for us that we promote within our team. And I might do it a little different than other people do. I'm pretty bold because we have a product that works. And I tell people, be a product of your product first, and that way your boldness comes out. And people want to follow energy. People want to follow certainty. So on say LinkedIn, you go to your notifications. Everybody wants to be noticed and be uplifted. So that's our first thing. What I do, I fill the funnel by uplifting people. I go to notifications. and I say, congratulations on your job, happy birthday. You know, we schedule time every day. So daily methods of operation. If you want your business to grow, you got to treat it like a business. So get up, set a timer. We set a timer. Don't go in and start commenting on all your team. That's where your feed's going to go then. So you go comment on your prospects. You go into their news feed, wish everybody happy birthday, do all that, and then you go over and comment on non-team members' posts. Those are your prospects. So you go comment. Then they, LinkedIn, Facebook, and this sort of goes for both of them. So it's not just LinkedIn. They both sort of have the same platform. So if you go to your news feed in either one of them, and you look at your news feed, and you see nothing but all your teammates, guess who's seeing your notifications? Your teammates. So what we do, I set a timer, and I do not let myself go down a rabbit hole. I set a timer, I go comment on every person that I'm prospecting. Hey, nice photo. And then I'll go private message them. Where's that at? Now what happens, LinkedIn and Facebook, they know that person. So now my stuff's showing up on their news feed. So that's just powerful. But the main thing is, now I've prepped myself by first thing going and congratulating everybody. Because then after I go over and do my comments on everybody, now all my thank yous are coming back during the day. They're coming back. And that's where you start being bold. You know, you look at the person and you see who it is. I don't want anybody negative in our organization. I want to keep positive influence, people that are going to uplift me in our organization. So, you know, I'm bold when it comes to a birthday wish, because I know I have something that can change somebody's life from their health to their wealth. So I'm bold. And they come back and say, happy birthday to me. I say, you're so, so welcome. Dude, I desire every one of my friends to be on our program. If you're open to learning more about our nutrition program or business, I'd love to chat and share my story with you. If not, have a wonderful birthday. You know, I'm always here for you. I'm bold like that. Does it work? Yes, it works. I can send 10 thank yous out. People come back and say, thank you to me. I'll tell them what I have always got taught. Tell people what you desire. I tell them what I desire, and I'm saying I'm always there for them no matter what. You can always send your friends to me. I'll help them. So that's what helps with me. But I want to show our life. You want to show your life when you're in social media, because people want to follow energy, and you want to come from your heart. And if you come from your heart, when you give, you'll receive. So people want to follow that. So that's how we build our business. And boldness and coming from your heart, and everybody deserves to live a long, healthy life. We're all deserve to have abundance in health and wealth. And if that just comes out of you, and you show this wonderful life, and if you're working, you show you're working hard, and showing you're moving forward and uplifting people, and people will want to follow you and want to be on your team. But again, it's belly to belly. The same thing with belly to belly, guys. You got to just believe in yourself 100% and believe in your product. If you're not willing to be a product of your product, how can you believe in yourself? How can you convince somebody else to do what you're doing? Unless, you know, you hear commitment all the time from leaders. You have to commit in your business. This business has blown me away. And so I can keep talking and talking, so you got to shut me down if you want. This business has blown me away, and we all deserve this. Put your head down. You heard every leader up here about commitment. Well, if you commit to this is a numbers game. The compensation plan is guaranteed to work. Are you willing to work? So that's the only thing, guys. Step up. This can change your life forever, and I love it.
Jeff Beebe, everybody. Here's my notes from what he said. Number one, be uplifting in everything that you do. Be uplifting. Be a ray of sunshine in a dark and kind of a conflicted world. And frankly, I got to tell you something about the uplifting thing, just as a side note. We live in a world that is, there's a book by Ryan Holiday called Trust Me, I'm Lying, Confessions of a Media Manipulator, that basically predicts that our future politically and as communities is going to be troubled because there's so much fighting over our mental attention that they will say anything to divide and to distract and to pick fights and to create drama, because drama gathers eyeballs, negativity gathers people. They're trying to drive wedges between us in every possible way. We unify in a particular unique way, but that's not going to change. And being uplifting in a negative world, in a snarky world, in a world that sneers about everything, in a world that looks down its nose at everything, and just deciding not to go down that path is important. And I think what I've heard from a lot of you and a lot of other top people is just don't engage with those divisive issues. Don't engage in the political issues. Don't engage in those things that would divide, and be a ray of sunshine. Uplifting, have the energy and the heart, because people will follow that. Comment with your prospects instead of just interacting with your team, and be bold. That's what I had. Jessica, let's go with you. What's working for you in social media, and what would you train them to do?
So what if I did this instead? What if I gave everyone in the room a high engagement post that would give them, I can almost guarantee you 20 comments from people that you haven't spoke to in a while.
Perfect.
Would you guys like to have a post to do that right now? Okay, so I've got your media guy prepped with the post. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So hopefully he'll get it up there. So get your phones out. The first thing I need you to do is take a selfie. Don't put the person beside you in it.
Everybody take a selfie. Ready?
Just do a quick selfie.
Even you, Tim.
It can be funny, it can be cute, whatever you want to do. And then go into Facebook. If you like Instagram, you can do this on Instagram. I know for Facebook it works. That's what I do it on. So on Facebook, you're going to pull up a post, put your selfie on there. If you need to edit it, do it later. But I'm going to give you the words to write. And what's going to happen after we post this, by the time we have like 35 minutes left here on stage, by the time we get off stage, everyone will have like massive comments on this. It's happened every single time. So, are you guys ready to know what to write? Yes? That doesn't sound like you guys are really ready. Okay. All right, so the first line is, it's on here. Some of you have never in all caps, commented to say hi. Be sure that you do that with the exclamation points. We want that to stand out. Or anything, and that should be ... It's important to have
Hi, ...
Yeah, anything.
Or anything ...
Or anything ... I just messed up when I wrote it to them. Some of you have never commented to say hi or anything. Please do so now so I can say thank you for paying attention. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, what do I do after they say hi? Well, you say thank you. But here's where you say thank you. In their inbox. Use Facebook Messenger, because that's going to help with algorithms, right? It's going to help you really get that interaction with them on a personal level. It's also going to help you build into conversation with them and say, how's life going? I haven't spoke to you since high school, you know? So this post has been an absolute game changer for a lot of people if they've been struggling on social media, struggling on increasing their list. And so I can guarantee that if you'll post this, post it now, see what happens an hour from now. Put your phone down, don't look at it, let it do its thing. You'll get distracted by it really easily. So wait till we go to a break to try to respond to people. But it's a great post, and what I love is it doesn't say your company name. It fully interacts with someone, and it allows you to say, how can I serve you? What's going on in your life where I can serve you on the level that you need to be served on?
How about that, everybody? Give her a round of applause. Posts that start conversation, posts that create interaction, posts that prime the algorithms inside of all these different platforms to be able to have the right people seeing the right stuff. Because that's what they want to do. They want to connect people that are like-minded. And all right, Zach, how about you? Get up and train them, will you?
All right.
Come on, man.
So what's working?
What's working?
So
what are you doing? What's for real?
So I think it was interesting that you had Daniel Negreanu up here last night, and what Daniel shared is that he's having to evolve his game based on what's happening in the world of poker. And we as networkers likewise have to evolve our game based on what's happening in the world of social media. So for the last couple of months, I've been really paying attention to what's working. And what's working is not what got us here. And that's really important for everybody to remember. What's working is not what got us here. What's working is the one thing that most of you aren't really willing to do or a little bit scared to do. What's working is Facebook Live. What's working is Facebook Live. Now, why is it important that we're willing to step into Facebook Live? Because right now, all of us across the board are saying Facebook is the granddaddy. Facebook is what's working. But then we have to understand, if we're going to play the game, we have to understand the rules of the game. And right now, Facebook as a company wants to dominate the video space. So it doesn't matter how clever your posts are. It doesn't matter how powerful your testimonials are. It doesn't matter to a certain degree, and this is a phenomenal engagement post, to a certain degree, things like that are only going to take us so far, because what Facebook's going to say is, play by our rules and we'll help you win the game. Facebook Live is the way to win the game. Now, a couple of just key pointers, guys. When you do a Facebook Live, invest in a $19 tripod. There is nothing worse than feeling like you're watching the Blair Witch Project of somebody's Facebook Live. So that's number one. Set it up. Have your lighting be good. So you want your lighting facing in front of you, not behind you. And a third key tip, set your camera up so that you're looking into the camera lens and you're in the frame of the lens. How many of you guys have watched Facebook Lives where the speaker, or the person that's giving the content, is looking down? How many of you guys had that experience? Just raise your hand. Okay, now why do we not want to do that? How many of you like being looked down upon? So think about the psychology when you're looking down on somebody versus when you're looking eye to eye with somebody. The great thing that Facebook Live does is it creates something I call the living room effect. You're literally inviting people into your living room. And the number one bit of feedback that I or my wife Eden get is, it feels like you're just speaking with me. But instead of speaking one-to-one, you have the potential to speak 1 to 200, 1 to 2,000, 1 to 20,000. And one last bit of advice, if you're newer to this, just get on there. Just get on there and go live. Get on there and go live with no attachment whatsoever to the number of likes you get or the number of comments you get. There are people that go to bed every single night praying for a solution that each one of us in some capacity has in our repertoire because of the companies and because of the profession we've aligned ourselves with. But unless they know that you're available to them to be of service to them, like you said, then they won't know that their prayer is sitting right in front of them. So something I train on a lot, guys, is go live so people can live. Go live so people can live.
So before you finish, what do you do on the live? Like, hi, this is me brushing my teeth.
Great question, because that's one of the biggest things. How many of you are sitting here going, all right, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what anyone's going to listen to. Stop belittling your story. Stop thinking that because you haven't made a certain amount of money that people don't want to hear from you. Stop thinking that the challenges that you've overcome in your life aren't of value to people. There's somebody that's sitting at home right now wanting to know how it is that you're changing your life. What is something that you heard Ray Higdon train on that you can then share with somebody else? Go watch a Facebook Live by Tony and Sarah and take some value and go, man, this was amazing. Let me teach you what I just learned from one of my mentors and pay forward some of what you're learning. There's nothing wrong with borrowing content as long as you're giving credit to the initial content creator. Nothing wrong with doing that. It's an homage. It honors them. And it shows your network that you're humble enough to know that you don't know everything.
Hey, Zach, how often do you go live? How often do you suggest people go live?
The answer to all great questions is it depends. So if you're early on, I'd love to see you guys just commit to going live just once a week. Just start by going once a week. Those of you guys that have a little bit more of a built-up network, I'd really invite you guys to go live at least 2, 3, 4 times a week. What I will share with you is this, something really fascinating. If you're making a little video upload, YouTube style, 3 minutes or less is the magic number. However, if you go live on Facebook, the longer you go, the better your engagement. The longer you go, the better your engagement. What I found is 20 minutes to about 30, 35 minutes is kind of the sweet spot. Anything over 35 minutes, you'll start to lose people. And then one last little tidbit, if I may, is once you're done watching the Facebook Live, go back in and comment on everybody's comments. Just reply to their comments. Thanks for joining us. So good to see you. Amazing to hear from you. Thanks for sharing your takeaway. I'd be so honored if you'd be willing to share this with your network or your community if you found value in it and feel like they'd find value as well. Don't be scared to ask people to share your stuff, guys. And last but not least, here's the reality. People are going to talk about you anyway. So you may as well give them something worth talking about.
Zach Sloven, everybody. And if you're looking for inspiration on what to go live on, you have, how many ideas are in your notebook already? Just your notes from this weekend. You could take any one of these little ideas, one little quote, and you say, hey, I wanted to share this quote, and here's what it meant to me. One little training idea, one little whatever. Here's a life tip. Here's, my buddy, I listened to Rob Dyrdek talking about clarity and the importance of clarity, and that here's what that meant to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As you could talk about that, you could talk about the people that you work with, you could talk about books that you're reading, you could talk about a video that you watched, you can talk about anything that you've learned, any life lesson that's been important to you over the course of your life. All of that stuff is a big deal. But just start. Just start. Like anything, just start. And it's going to get better over time. But what did we hear last night over and over and over? Consistency, consistency, consistency. You do it once or twice and you don't get the results, you quit, you lose out on the benefit. The programs themselves want to see that you're consistent with it before they start rewarding you with lots of traffic. You have a question, a comment, Jeff?
It's so important to figure out daily methods of operation, guys. We always, you want the business to grow. You really have to set your time out and realize, okay, when are the peak times that people look at Facebook? Mm-hmm. It's early in the morning before they go to work. It's lunchtime. So figure out when you're going to do your power post. We call them power posts. Sunday night. That's it, man. Sunday night, 8 o'clock or so, that's where your power post should come out. That's where you should do a live. And it doesn't always need to be about your product. When you do lives, uplift, have fun, show people your life. Be
goofy, whatever. Do something silly.
So they see you're a real person. But engage. Get people offline immediately. But it's real important. Set your time. Get up in the morning. Congratulate everybody. 15 minutes. That's it. Set your other time. Go in, comment on all your prospects. 15 minutes. Boom. Now go back in and work with your team. Work with your team and congratulate the people that have had success and do all this. This is real important. You're working with the team because that's the retention rate you're going to get once you have enrollment. You need to, don't forget about them. So now you got to go back in and work with your team. And now you can come back. Now the thank yous are coming in. And now you can go back and tell people what you desire. You have to speak. If you don't speak and tell people what you want, they won't know. We go to our team, some people, nobody calls. I don't get any comments. I don't get jack. I don't know what's going on. And all I get's no's. That's perfect. That means you're doing the work. If you're getting no's, you're doing the work. And so, but it's so important to just be there and connect and get them offline immediately and make it belly to belly then. Because don't hide behind the computer at all immediately. Don't get into conversations when they ask you, can I know more about your product? That's what I get all the time, 2 or 3 a day. Hey, I'd like to know more about your nutrition program. Perfect. What's a good day and time you can talk? Question mark. That's it. That thing can sit there for a week. And then once they come back, they say 10 o'clock, perfect. Or what's a good time you can talk? I set each individual up for success according to their needs and goals. Boom. Well, tell me how much it is. I set each individual up for success according to their needs and goals. What's a good time you can talk? I just repeat it. Because if they're not going to be engaged enough to give me a phone number or connect with me, am I going to waste my time? It's next, next, next.
Got it. Sarah.
Okay. So to piggyback a little bit on the Facebook Lives, I think the biggest thing that's super important for the lives is even if you've never done a live, your very first one could be like, hey, I'm so scared I'm doing this live. I mean, I remember the first live that I did, I was on there and I literally told everyone I was so scared. But it helped me kind of break through. But I think too, for a lot of times, is that these guys talk about it. Your lives don't have to be always about business or inspiration or what have you. For example, I have a guy that I get a chance to work with in Toronto. I used to play for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he's like, well, Sarah, what do I talk about? And I'm like, well, bro, what are you so passionate about? And he's like, I'm so passionate about baseball. And so I'm like, all right, well, here's the thing. Sit down and empty your brain onto a piece of paper and write down everything that you possibly can that gets you excited about baseball. And so he actually started doing lives just to start telling his story, getting out there about the greatest glove that was out there, what he's coaching his kids on right now, even everything that you can imagine when it came to baseball, and it started attracting this amazing community. And so I encourage you with the lives just to get out there, just to do them, to have fun. But what's working for our business is that and we have a great team of people that are here. We have amazing leaders that I and my husband get a chance to work with every day. And we're just really using behind the scenes the Facebook groups. I mean, we teach our guys to go one step further than what the average person is doing on Facebook. So even example as far as I heard Jeff talking about happy birthdays, right? So not just posting happy birthday to someone, but going on the back side of it and going in a messenger and sending someone a voice memo saying, hey, happy birthday. What are you doing today on your great day? Engaging with them, asking them open-ended questions that continue the conversation for you to connect with them. I loved how Zach talked about, when you do a Facebook Live, making sure that you do like and comment on those people, because a lot of times, guys, they want you to engage. If you don't like their stuff back, if you don't comment back, they're probably not going to stay engaged with you. So with a lot of those people that maybe will like or comment on a Facebook Live that my husband and I do, I will actually send them a private message besides saying, hey, thank you. I might say, hey, thanks so much. It was great to hear from you. How are you? What's happening? Or, tell me your story or whatever it may be to connect, because at the end of the day in our business, it is all about the relationships, right? And I tell people all we do is we connect and we connect and we connect and we build those relationships every single day. And so we use a lot of Facebook groups. I know a lot of the companies.
So talk about Facebook groups specifically.
Yes.
That this is a way to be able to use the platform. You create a special group,
yes.
And the group is based around what?
So there's actually different groups. There's groups that are created around prospects for customers, right? For customers, and then also groups that are created.
So how do you add those
business
people
process.
to a group? If they're a customer, you add them to a group?
Yes, or if they want more information on the product.
If they want more information, you put them in a group and you use that to tell stories?
It's a third-party tool, right? I mean, that's really what it is. It's just evolved into a third-party tool that validates this.
So if you say, this person would like to know more, you say, well, listen, I have this group where we just provide information. Would you like me to add you to that group?
Yeah, I say, hey, I'd love to add you to the group. You can dig around. You can do your homework. You can do your research. People like to do that,
and if a person joins as a customer, you can add them to a customer group and just keep talking with them that way.
Exactly.
They join it as a distributor. You could do that again. How many different kind of groups do you use?
3.
What are the 3?
So we have for customers, for prospects for business, and then we actually have a group that's for people that are in the business. So we teach them how to use the groups.
So what are the 3 again?
Customers,
prospects, and distributors.
Then distributors, yeah.
Got it. Anything for higher ranked people or no?
Yeah, separate stuff.
Okay. Well, what that sounds secret. Tell me.
I can't give away the farm.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we have chats too.
Yeah.
Because I think chats are great. It creates a buzz, right? So it keeps people involved, engaged, what's happening. Like people like to see, like we'll create these groups for like brand new people that get started. So they don't feel like they're by themselves.
Right.
So they feel like they've got a community of people that they're working with. And it's great inside these chats because we're like, hey, give shout outs every time you get a customer. Give a shout out whenever you sign up a brand new person. So what's great is that it allows us to give recognition to all these people in the chats, but then also to the people that maybe aren't working. It kicks them in the butt to go, oh my God, Susie just signed somebody up. I got to get going, right? I got to get moving. I got to start talking to some more people. So the chats are fun because it's like, it's live, it's instant, it's the buzz, it's the energy that people love because as you know, I mean, this business can be a lonely business.
Yeah.
And so it's great because it creates that awesome sense of community, like present, like live time.
Sarah Zalecki, everybody. I'm going to have Bree go next, actually. I want you to talk about, if you can, what Bree and her organization have done, a tremendous job of taking a brand new person and launching them, having them launch using social media as a platform to launch their business. Okay. And it's duplicated like crazy. It's grown around the world like crazy. And you created a great culture of it. So it's not just a few people doing it, it's a lot of people doing it. So tell them what's working for you.
Okay. All right, because in my head, I'm sitting there and I have the...
Go wherever you want to go. I'm just telling you what I've been noticing.
So as far as launching goes, something that's super important, and one of the first videos that I send to people when I bring them into my business, and by the way, do what?
Hold the mic closer. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Come on, Carrie Underwood.
Okay, so one of the things that I do is I send videos to people when I first bring them into the business. That's working smarter, not harder, right? So when I bring them in, the first thing that we talk about is just what Ray said, creating curiosity on Facebook, okay? So we actually don't go out there because here's what we've seen. We'll say, tell the world that you joined, and then they'll throw up the business all over their Facebook. And we're like, okay, yeah, that's not how we want to do it. So now we're like, create the curiosity where you're going on there and you're saying, oh, I just found my favorite such and such product. And you never say anything about it. And it works like crazy because they're like, okay, tell me more. It's kind of like those cliffhangers that you see when people are like, well, a lot of people are like, pray for my family. You're like, well, what's going on? Like they want to know more. So when you have a product that you love, because we do it every day with stuff, right? Like, oh, I just ate at the best restaurant or the best shampoo, whatever it is. So you just do it with your product, but create the curiosity where they come back wanting more. So that's one thing that we do whenever we're launching. And then I actually save our welcomes and all of that for after they have gotten their kit. So you want them to have products in hand to showcase because people believe it more when it's on your body, your face, whatever you're using, right? So they want to see it in your hands and you're able to tell your story behind it. So once they get that kit in, they find the products that they love, then they're going to start talking about it more loud and proud, right? That's when we go and we welcome them and that kind of thing. So there's only like 5 days, three to 5 days in between when they sign up and they get those products in hand. And when we're kind of doing the prepping behind the scenes in those days, right? And sending the videos on creating curiosity and that kind of thing. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about recruiting on social media. So I've recruited over 400 people using, I would say primarily Facebook with a little bit of YouTube. And a confession, y'all, I'm a millennial and I'm just going to blame it on that I don't like to get on the phone. Am I alone? Anyone else not like to get on the phone? I don't like to get on the phone. So I do, call what you want. I hide behind my social media if that's what you want to call it. But the thing is that I use different ways to create connections that create curiosity, that literally my goal every single day is to start new conversations and then follow up with the old ones. So I'm going to give you guys just a few things, different ways in order to start the conversation, because I think a lot of people, we go, yeah, social media is great for recruiting, but when it comes to what do we say, people do it so wrong. They go and throw up all this stuff. Or how many of you have gotten in your other folder somebody you don't even know and is like, I have this great product, you should try it out, want to join my team? And you're like, seriously? Did you really just come at me with that? Look at my Facebook profile. No. So you have to have the relationships. That's the wrong way to do stuff, right? And there's a different way to do it. You can do it by what I call it beating around the bush, like kind of like, fostering the relationship, because a lot of people that's easier for you guys, right? So you can do it that way, or you can go bold. You can just start the conversation. So what we use in our organization is the 3 C's. Ready? Pins? Crazy, compliment, confidence. Disclaimer on this one, guys, there is a way to use it as a spam way, but you have to be genuine and use it intentionally, right? With people that you have some sort of connection with. But you go, hey, if you have someone, think of someone in your mind that you really want to start the conversation with, but you're like, I don't know how to start it. I really want her on my team, but I don't know how to start it. I just go, listen, Sarah, you're going to think I'm absolutely crazy. I get it. Okay, that's kind of the icebreaker. Then you're going to give them a compliment. But I keep seeing you pop up on my Facebook newsfeed, and oh my gosh, your hair is gorgeous. What shampoo are you using, right? And then you're going to give them the confidence. So you're going to say, well, I think that you have an amazing network. People are always commenting on all of your social media posts. You would be amazing at what I do. What are your thoughts on working with me? Okay, so I say, you would be amazing at what I do. So give them the confidence that they would rock the business, right? And that can go so many different ways. And that's where you make it kind of genuine to whoever you're talking to. Maybe it's the network they have. Maybe it's their bubbly personality. Maybe it's their looks. Whatever it is, you say, this is amazing about you. You would be so good at what I do. And then leave it with that open-ended question. What are your thoughts on working with me? Not join my team, not any of that. What are your thoughts on working with me? Okay, so that's kind of my go bold. And then the other way that I start the conversations, if you want to go the long way around, I call it puppy talk. And here's what's great about puppy talk, because if you go bold and get like nothing, right? Because there are the times you go bold and they're like, yeah, no. You can always go back to puppy talk. And what puppy talk is, you go to their Facebook profile, you find something they've posted about, because the truth of the matter is, what they're posting about, they want you to see and talk about, right? They want you to recognize, or else they wouldn't have posted it. So let's say they just posted their puppy. That's why I call it puppy talk, because I just use that example. They just posted their new puppy that they got. I'll go and I'll say, hey, Laura, I just saw you got a new puppy. We're thinking about getting Cooper one. What kind of dog is that? She's so cute, right? So I don't say anything about business. I start with puppy talk. Those guys, right? Like when you're up here, you have no idea what's going on up there. But I do the puppy talk, because then I have a viewer, right? Now she's definitely going to my profile to see what I'm up to. And then we've started the conversation, and then I always lead into, what have you been up to, or what do you do for a living? A question like that, because when you ask that question and it gets answered, 90% of the time they come back and go, well, what have you been up to, right? And that's kind of like your doorway. So 2 different ways that you can use social media to not only connect, but really we're building business for residual income, and that comes from the recruiting. So you have to be having those conversations every single day.
Well done. Practical, awesome. My friend Ray Higdon has been working with a lot of the top earners from around the world, helping them to up their game when it comes to social media. Share what's working around the world, best practices. Go ahead, hit it.
Specifically for top earners, you mean? Okay.
Whatever you think is most practical for these people to be able to master social media. And if you really want this little 5 minutes to go viral, show your abs.
No. So let's see. I'll give you a few different tips. I would say number 1, around follow-up. And I think that, have you ever sent a message and then just either no response or thumbs up? You ever get that? Do you know what to do with the thumbs up? You're like, why the thumbs up? Anyone ever get that? You're like, hey, you open and joining my business? They're like, okay, here's the sign-up link, right? So I would say around follow-up, I'm going to give you a couple different tips there. 1, that is remain postured. Keep posture. Now, posture, just to define that, is the belief in what you have regardless of external acceptance or approval. It means that I don't require your acceptance or approval for me to go and rock this thing out. And so I'm not going to dance to your tune. So if they say it's one of those things, I don't want to do one of the things, you say, cool, well, let me know if you know anyone that does want to make some extra money. You don't try to defend it. You don't try to pummel them with articles or anything like that. You just hold your posture. And the difference in people that tend to feel really good about how they prospect versus those that do not is those that do not are trying to close everyone. And so I'll get messages, and they're like, Ray, my brother-in-law says I'm going to prison and that I suck. How do I turn him around? How do I get him to see it my way? I'm like, you don't. You move on. Go to someone else. It's okay. So instead of trying to close everyone, look for who's open. Look for who's open and be okay if someone's not open. So, little trick that we've been teaching that is working like freaking crazy. Anyone that you have that you've messaged, texted, emailed, whatever communication you use, Snapchatty, is that what they call it? I don't know, whatever. But anyone that you've done any of these things with and they haven't responded for 4 days or more, I want you to regain your posture, and I want you to send them a message and say, hey, I want to apologize because I've been so busy. Man, I've been working with a lot of new prospects and customers, and I've just been so busy. I didn't get a chance to follow up with you. How you doing? If you do that, because we've tested it with a whole bunch of people, you will get responses.
Say it again.
Okay? So I want to apologize. Now, that gets their attention, right? Because they feel they blew you off, right? They blew you off because they're too cool for school, and they think that you're going to be scolding them because that's what the amateurs do. Why didn't you respond to me? How come? Did you watch the video yet? Right? You got hair in curlers, rolling pin, right? And so instead of that, say, hey, I just want to apologize. I've been so busy with existing prospects and customers and my teammates. I didn't get a chance to follow up with you. How are you? Now notice I didn't say, did you watch the video yet? I'm just saying, how are you? Okay? And I'm going to send that. Now, what if they don't respond? No! Right? People freak out. They're like, Ray, you don't understand. They didn't respond. It's okay. It's all right. Go to the next person. Keep doing this. I was at, we ran an event in my area, and a guy that I've known for years came up to me and he goes, hey, look at this. And he showed me his text messages. He had a text from me every other month or so for 4 years. And I was like, and one of them was like, hey, I just went a cruise. I know it's not a fit for you, but you know anyone wants to make some extra money, let me know. Right? The next one was, hey, I just earned a BMW. Let me know if you're ever open and at least taking a look. Love you, buddy. It went on and on and on. I never stopped. And so until you read their obituary, you keep following up. All right? And you read them in the paper. It's kind of disrespectful because a family member could be reading it. And then, just don't bring up that, right? So if they pass away, stop following up. Or if they're super rude. If they're mean, I disqualify them. If they feel the comfort of just blasting me and calling me a name, then I disqualify them. And I mark them off my list. I'll never follow up with them again. But follow-up, I'm telling you, you're losing probably 80% of the people you could be recruiting or customers even that you could be bringing in by not following up. Don't go back to them in a weak posture. So that would be some tips. Anything else?
Excellent.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Ray Higdon, everybody. Let me just tell you this. Do you think social media is here to stay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you think it's important for you to be able to master this skill? Yes or no?
Yes.
It's going to be a study of 100 little 1% things. Checking it out, plan to review. Did this work? Get feedback. Did that work? Get feedback. Does this duplicate? Get feedback over and over and over and over. You heard some very simple, basic, common sense things that Bree is doing in order to be able to sponsor personally. I want you to imagine something. Imagine personally sponsoring 400 plus people. How many years?
4.
4 years, 100 people personally a year. If you did that over the next 4 years, what would happen to the growth of your organization, do you think? And she admits she doesn't love talking on the phone, but she uses social media as a coping mechanism. Thank God it supports that desire not to talk on the phone? Anything else you want to share with them?
Well, I was going to say, but if they ask to get on the phone, I never prompt it, but if they ask, then of course I'm getting on the phone. So don't be like, no, I can do this all through social media.
Yeah.
Because I will say, my number one person in my organization, Whitney, you'll hear from her, but she asked me to get on the phone. And could you imagine if I never got on the phone with her, right? So if they ask you, of course, get on the phone. I'm not saying don't ever do it. It's just not for me to prompt that.
So whether it's 200, 150, just imagine if in 2018 you use some ideas in social media just to sponsor 20 new people. Put 20 new lines in the water, 20 new people that you're going to be able to give an opportunity to be able to change their life and teach them how to do the same thing. Okay, would that be valuable? Is that something that would be important for you to develop the skill over time to be a master of this game? Yes or no? All right, take your notes. This is a little primer to be able to kind of start you down the road. And ladies and gentlemen, please thank again Jessica Hayes, Jeff Beebe, Zach Slobin, Sarah Zalecki, Ray Higdon, and Bree Richardson. Give them all a big round of applause.